Okay. Okay, hi. This may be live. I'm also going to upload this problem for reference's sake. So today I'm going to be analyzing Pentium, modern Pentium. It's both, I think, something in for any runner of Pentium, just to like analyze any modern 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 leaderboard. But also, it's a bit of a request from a friend of mine, Rabi-Ribi, um, as the current time video. That's in real. So, I'm gonna be taking a look at this. Probably putting comments here, there, of like improvements, mistakes, and just like minor things. Maybe in audience. Anyway, I haven't really decided if it's with VM's audio because I maybe, but we'll see how it goes. If it seems like there's a lot of like a, a lot of talking over, then I'll probably just mute the video and then put some background music. So let's dive right in. It's like not much. I think this is a little video set probably. I just opened this video. Or maybe this is the wrong. Just haven't.
Yeah, same.
It's actually.
I mainly upgraded my PC for Rabi-Ribi anyways.
We'll see.
Because I got tired of the game lagging.
If, like BGM messes up. But okay, yeah.
I messed up the strat again.
Okay.
And Ribbon's gonna fly up. Dead. Let's practice this for a bit.
Okay.
Oh yeah, capture card instead of GPU.
So the run probably starts right here. I believe at the time of this recording, VGM's not using splitter. It's manual splitting. Because I feel like the early game is just so obvious. Like what's... Oh, I should point out a few things. VGM does this really well. So why? I have to fix that later. So right here, this room. So right here, so typically when it comes to quick drop movement, you want to have like a certain height. It's greater than just a mini. So like, I don't think we've really figured out what the fastest height is for quick dropping. I know Phantom Devil had this little video about how a smaller size quick drop is faster than full hop, but there's a lot of little things that aren't clear about that. For example, the thing that I always was doing is I would do very small, minimal jump quick drop in order to get the quick speed. It's like acceleration. I want to accelerate to the full hop, which I thought would be the fastest, but in Phantom Devil's comparison video, he just does the full hop outright, so like that's going to be slower because it's a full hop. So I'm not really 100% sure how accurate it is without counting for acceleration. Like if the comparison was every movement was already at max acceleration, what would the... But anyway, rambling on. So right here, um, when you land right here, it's really awkward, especially if you're doing a full jump to like... You see where Arena is positioned here, like you can sometimes like you don't have enough ceiling or to actually like this quick drop here all the way. Typically, you would land and then jump again. So VGM does this. I've seen a lot of other runners sometimes flex up and like land here and then kind of like walk off this ledge. But you always want to be in a like you always want to be jumping or quick drop. You don't want to be walking. Anytime you land, you're just immediately jumping. So like here, for example, VGM does like a shorter jump because if if you did a bigger jump, you could like clip. That's just like it's really well. And like the same thing right here. I see a lot of runners do this when they're new. They walk forward in order to clear this ceiling in order to do. But you can actually do what VGM does here, which is a very tiny quick drop, bonk off a ceiling and land, and then do a quick drop. It's like that's what you should. The VGM does that. So really fun thing about this is if you are actually lower, like the lower you are for this launch, the easier it is to be jump over this slime. So this slime bun does move in RNG, but like how you land here, after this launch like will affect your position. And like BGM has a nice launch relatively low, and then like it just puts you up in like this perfect. And if you're like too high or too low, ceiling. I don't know. This is like very clean. Sorry. Okay. Oh, so cool thing about slopes. When slopes are a certain height, for example, this slope is, I think the maximum slope, like the 45. There's like two different kinds of slopes. There's the 30-degree slope and the 5-degree slope. But for 45-degree slopes, it's faster to do mini quick drops up a slope. Like so for this is a 30-degree slope. So you can just do normal. It's like let's say max height quick is fastest, like you can normal. Like 30-degree slopes are basically like you don't have to change anything about your move. You get to these 45-degree slopes, you actually want to minimum so you can get. I don't really know how to explain, but basically you want to do mini quick up slope like. I went wrong. Okay, so right here, this is annoying because seeking like seconds, so like back pretty. So right here, I know a lot of runners don't do this because it's insanely hard. When you land this upper, you can actually quick drop. You can actually jump and quick drop and land on this corner, and then fit in other jump quick drop. So like exactly their vision. Oh no, he doesn't. So you see like, oh, is my voice cutting out? It might be because I'm using. See, I have a filter which is I have a noise gate filter, and the minimum level is probably too small. Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, like not too much cutout, as I was explaining a lot of stuff earlier. But I am talking in a relatively lower volume, I suppose. But so like right here, you can land here, jump, quick drop, and then land right here, and then jump, quick drop again. So basically, you can fit in a whole additional quick drop in that little section. And I typically go for it. It is really difficult to get this, so almost no runners go for that mini optimization. But like, so like what VGM does is like pretty standard for most runners. But I do always try to fit in that like quick drop. I mean, you can try it in runs and you can see how tight it is. but you have to do the smallest jump quick drop in order to fit like 2 of them there. And this is pretty standard. Yeah, what VGM does here is also something that not a lot of people do, but VGM does do it, is that when you get underneath here, you can fit a small jump quick drop like that, like what VGM just did, and then another jump quick drop down this tiny ledge. A lot of people I see just don't jump, they just like walk forward and quick drop, which is, you know, if you're walking forward, then that's slower, of course. And here again, 45-degree slope. So if you do mini quick drops up a 45-degree slope, it's slightly faster. So this is pretty standard. Okay, so this room, don't launch. Don't launch in this room. Launching in this room is slow.
Feels.
So this room, you can actually launch here, but you have to fit in between. You have to go from here into between here. It's incredibly difficult. I've only gotten it like a handful of times, and the handful of times I did get it, it was still slower. Like, this has to be such a clean launch to get. Like, you shouldn't be going for a launch like here at all. Like, you're just not gonna save time. It's not happening. If you bonk the ceiling, you're losing time. If you get a wimpy, you're losing time because wimpies are slow. So yeah, just don't do it.
I want to mute my mic, but I can't because I've.
These are pretty standard.
Feels bad.
If you're going from right to left in the warp room, is it faster to launch?
I'll mute it whenever I get to
Okay,
Cocoa.
okay, so right here, this is a really awkward movement.
Right, get to Cocoa.
I notice a lot of people tend to do like a quick drop when they land on this platform and then hit this bunny. But when you do that, you get what VGM ends up doing in this clip, is you're going too far forward, and then you can see when VGM jumps up, like he nudges this corner. So I think typically what you do is you land and you just use your hammer, and then you just
I'll mute it whenever I get to.
like you just use a hammer right here. It can reach this bunny, and then you just
Cocoa.
jump up. Basically, you have to walk a little bit forward in order to hammer. I'm actually not sure if it matters that much. I'm gonna say that it probably doesn't matter that much, but that's just like some minor thing. So this launch is actually really awkward. The goal of this launch is to be high enough on this wall to get as far left as possible. Like, you know how like the launch arcs like this, right? So you want to launch high enough so that your arc lands you as close to this ledge as possible, but not so close that you land on this flower, and not so much that you miss the flower, because you still want to hit it with the hammer. So if you go too low or too high, like, it just doesn't work out. Let me see if I can... So you can see here, VGM launch is actually quite low, and you can see, like, lands right in front of the flower. Like, that's pretty good, right? And another fun thing is if you land far enough back and you get the hammer here, you can actually like buffer another jump quick drop here. I don't know, like this room is so complicated in terms of like how many different factors there are with launches that like it's really hard to say like what's the fastest method of going through this room. There's been some timing where actually you can just immediately jump down, not even launch, hit this bunny down here, and then quick drop over. So if you're like bad at launches, you can also do that. And like sometimes that movement of just jumping down and hitting this big bun and going left is faster than launching. Like if you get a bad launch, it can be slower. That pretty much applies to like all launches in this game. If you get a bad launch, it's going to be slower than just quick drop movement forward. Anyway, like that's that, right? Nothing too out of the ordinary. This fight is also pretty standard. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary here. There's a few comments I could mention. Probably won't. Oh yeah, so right here, VGM does something weird here actually. I mean, yeah, you can kill Coco. I mean, I'm not trying to like analyze Tentium too much. I mean, I've already done way too much, right? But like, yeah, I mean, you obviously want to manipulate Coco on the left here. Um, it's actually possible to stand on the left side of Cocoa to finish off this fight, but I never managed to get it to work. I've seen Siren get this to work, and it's really awkward, but like, yeah, you want to... Actually, now that I think about it... Oh yeah, see... Actually, yeah. So VGM is actually standing a pretty normal distance away, but like you can actually stand really close up to her face. Like you can stand like probably like, yeah, so Arena's like right here where my mouse is. Like the middle of Arena's right here, but you can actually stand like here next to Cocoa and still get this strat to work. It might be slightly faster. You don't want to go left. But yeah. And then this here, if you jump too high here, you land on top of this pillar, which is slow. You don't want to land on top of this pillar. You want to be able to quick drop down here. And then this launch. Also, if you get a wimpy jump here, it's slower than if you were to just... it'd just be slower than just doing quick drops. So one thing I noticed here is after you hit this bunny for your hammer EXP, I noticed that VGM for some reason walks all the way to the right here. Like you can see VGM starts using the carrot bomb like in the middle of this platform. But I use, like, I'm standing, like, usually when I use the carrot bomb, I'm standing here where this bunny is. Obviously, you want to explode these as fast as possible, so there's not really a lot of reason to go all the way over here. The only reason I can think of is if VGM's concerned about getting hammer EXP hits on this bunny for some reason, but, like, you don't need, like, you don't, like, those 2 hits that VGM just did, like, those are optional. Like, you don't need those hits in order to get up drill in time. Okay, so this launch here is also extremely complicated. If you go low, you don't nudge the ceiling. If you go high, you nudge the ceiling, but you can land on this platform. And I would be afraid of standing far enough, not standing far enough. Yeah, I don't know. Like, the bomb goes forward a little bit. Like it bounces forward, right? It's generally always fine, especially when the bombs are so slow. But anyway, back to this room. This room is really complicated. So if you go high, like what VGM did here, so if you launch, this is not even that high, right? You see VGM like launched like here, which is like the lower middle, and he still nudged the ceiling here. If you nudge the ceiling, you can actually buffer a jump here. VGM doesn't. VGM just like quick drops down, but you can actually buffer a jump quick drop and then another jump quick drop in order to get this mushroom. So you're fitting 2 quick drops if you nudge the ceiling, which I think is faster than just doing what VGM did. But typically if you don't nudge this ceiling, then typically you do what VGM does and you just land so close to this edge that you kind of just slip off. And there is a position where you go so low that you actually don't nudge this ceiling, but land far enough to the right here that you can do another. So you can actually do 2 quick drops here. Instead of saying jump quick drop, I'm just gonna say quick drop. So normally, like 90% of the time, you're fitting 1 quick drop in this section here because it's really hard to time this. But if you nudge this ceiling, you can fit 2 quick drops. If you go low enough, you can also fit 2 quick drops. Just like something to be aware of. But there's so many variations with this jump quick drop launch thing that like I don't even know what's the fastest, because I'll be doing runs and then sometimes I'll be doing a weird launch here and then I'll just get a best segment on ribbon. I'm just like, I don't even know why that was faster, that felt slow. So it's just like, it's complicated. I definitely think it's faster to do 2 quick drops if you can fit them instead of just walking off. Typically walking off is slower than fitting a quick drop. Oh, here's a fun thing. So VGM actually does a walk off here, which I would say is slower, but um, a lot of runners like to do this launch right here to the right, and it seems good in theory, but the thing is, when you do this launch, you actually go so far right and or you have so much speed that you have to slow down in order to get this launch here. So like overall, like doing that first launch is one tricky, two is not going to be faster because you have to slow yourself down, and three like is probably actually slower. I mean, I haven't timed it myself, but like for everything else in the game that I have timed, when you have to do a launch that is awkward and in a way that is not just like all in, it's almost always slower. So like this launch you do in the previous room to get to this room, like when you're doing a launch that is not all in, so like this is like a half, like you do the launch but then you have to hold back because you overshoot this ledge. It's so at this point it's no longer an all in launch, right? So like anytime you do a not all in launch, it's like almost always slower. Yeah, I feel like we did time it, but I'm not like 100%, so that's why I don't want to say it. But like I am pretty sure like the launch in that room is slower because of this sort of all-in phenomenon. Anyway, enough about that. Like this. So this is a really interesting fight. Ribbon has a little small tidbits. Um, so when you do an up drill, you can hit Ribbon 3 times, 4 times, or 5 times. And when I say hit, I mean a hit stun, like the hit stun effect. So that's 4. Like you can hear it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can hear this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that was 4. So 4, 5, 4, right? So the total number of hit stun hits was 13, right? But the minimum number that can kill Ribbon is actually 4 plus 4 plus 3. So it's 8, 9, 10, 11. So you only need 11 hit stun hits on Ribbon. So like VGM actually does 2 additional hit stun hits, right? And it's a little complicated because um, sometimes I feel like sometimes you get double hits. Like you can kind of see it right here, right? Hold on. Let me see if I can frame advance this. So like, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you see this fourth hit, VGM did this fourth up drill hit, and you can see there's 2 5s here, like a double hit. And then the fifth one also double hit. Yeah. So like VGM does 2 extra hit stun hits, which is slower, and then the, VGM does a standing double reverse hit, right? So like if you're doing a standing double reverse hit, then you will probably have to do an extra hit stun hit, so a total of 12 hit stun hits. But if so I do 11, which is the minimum amount. If you're doing 11, then when you do this last part, you have to do a walking hammer double reverse hit, because the walking hammer deals more damage, and you need that more damage to cover for the fact that you're getting less hit stun hits. But obviously, it would be faster because you're getting 11 hit stun up drills, and then the walking hammer is, a total of a walking hammer double reverse hit versus a standing double reverse hit is the same amount of hit stun. So like optimally, you're trying to get the minimum amount, which is 11, and then you're finishing off with a walking hammer double reverse hit. But that can be difficult because when you're doing a walking hammer, it's really awkward to get the right positioning sometimes. And sometimes like Riven gets hit away, sometimes you're walking too close because you're doing a walking hammer. So like it's perfectly understandable if you want to do extra hit stun hits in order to just do the standing double reverse hit, and that would just make Ribbon consistent without having to do a walking hammer. But even still, I think VGM does an extra one here. You can kind of manipulate the number of hit stun hits by kind of holding backwards on your attack. So like, let's say you're holding up plus right to like up drill forward. Like you can kind of hold left a little bit in order to like get Arena not to go as forward, so you can reduce the number of hit stun hits. Hopefully that all makes sense. But VGM does 13 up drill hit stun hits. He only needs to do a minimum of 11 to
Use two
finish this
carrots there because
one.
the second one bounces once and then falls. And when you use
I can't you use also quick drop to cancel it? And you can't do that. You can't cancel the up drill animation, but you can quick drop after the up drill to fall to the ground faster, if that's what you mean. There's no way to actually there's no way to actually cancel the up drill. Yeah.
that, you can actually hit the blocks on the next screen down.
So here again is another.
You can actually hit
So this launch here is definitely faster.
the blocks
But this one here, you can
on
see
the next screen
VGM lands and just like
down.
completely nudges this thing. A lot of people like to do that launch too, but like again, you're doing a launch and it has an awkward ending, probably slower.
And below them,
This particular room is really complicated though, because the normal quick drop movement through this room is also awkward. So like I'm not gonna say that launch is definitely slower, because it may be the same speed just because the normal quick drop movement in this room is also
which is
awkward.
faster than just falling down and then
That
dropping
room
the
is
carrot.
just awkward in general.
Instead, you just drop two at once.
It's hilarious that VGM goes for that launch, but not this one, because I think that one in that last one in Spectral Cave is super hard. I never go for it. It's also RNG dependent. Like, you might get bad Spark Ball RNG and you have to fire Ribbon in an awkward time, and then, like, my reaction time is really slow, so I don't go for it at all. I do go for this one. This one's pretty easy. Oh, is VGM's voice really loud? I can turn down the audio a little bit. I don't really know how loud the game audio is.
It's way faster.
Okay, let me do 70%. Okay. I wanted to comment on this
The carrot.
this fight. This fight is RNG. These bunnies have basically, yeah, each girl has two different patterns. They can either stand or walk forward. If the green one, the one on the left, stands still, it's typically a bad thing. Especially, I think maybe it's three. I think they walk forward, run forward, or stand still. But I don't know. There's different RNGs. There's basically a scenario where you don't get the green bunny off your hammer hit, and that's pretty much a reset because your hammer EXP is just all fucked up, and it's just like not worth it. Especially like it's only 2 minutes into the in the run, you don't want to have bad hammer EXP. So I've noticed that a lot of runners, yeah, there is a strat to ensure hitting it, but it's not very fast. I think if you were doing a no reset run, you would actually just charge shot the green bunny. Like that's way faster. Like you do the standard strategy and then charge shot the green bunny, and that will finish her off. But then you're down like a bunch of hammer levels. So I've noticed a lot of runners are doing like this strat where they up drill this bunny in order to get to the corner.
Oh, she should have been dead.
I'm actually not sure why people started doing this, because I still don't do it like this. Obviously, like doing an up drills are slow, right? Drills are slow when you have to do them. So typically you don't want to perform drills. Obviously the up drill is super consistent because it knocks them both into the corner. But like the strat before, like the strat that I do is like I jump over and land in between the two bunnies and then do like a standing hammer hit in order to finish both of them off with some charge shots and pellets. And like that strat has been around for a long time. And Inoke, Wasabi-san, both used to do that strat, but now Wasabi-san does the up drill strat. I'm not sure why he changed it. I was thinking maybe it has to do with like a change in the hammer EXP route, so that he can hit less things and get and save time that way. Because if you're doing the up drill, you're getting extra hammer EXP, so you can also cut the number of enemies you hit on Long Beach. But when I was watching like Wasabi-san's runs, like he's still hitting like the same enemies. So like I'm not really sure why it's a thing. I guess just for consistency, like you don't want to reset on such a stupid thing if you mess it up. So really fun thing, um, which I think is not faster, but it's really swag. Right here at the top of this pyramid, normally people launch, I launch, but when you do this launch, you can actually get a wimpy, and right here you can turn back to the right. Because you have a wimpy jump, that means you can get another wall jump, and then you can launch off of one of these lower corners. So you can get a wimpy at the top, then launch like a full launch down here somewhere, which is hilarious. Just like something that's like super swag, but like I've never actually managed to get it because it's really hard. Okay, so like VGM does actually skip this one. Typically I hammer these. The reason I do it because you only need one hammer to get two enemies. So like in a situation where you one hammer gets you two enemies, like you're getting more hammer EXP that way versus one enemy. Okay, so VGM is actually doing what I thought you would do. So like when you do the up drill strat on the two beach bunnies at the start of this section, you should be skipping using hammer along the beach because you don't need the EXP anymore. And that's exactly what VGM does here. So that makes completely sense why VGM does that strat. It's consistent on the beach buns, and you skip all the hammer EXP all along the beach. So like that's good. That's good. Okay. But again, Wasabi-san still hits enemies along the beach, so I'm not sure why that's a thing. That's a very interesting strat. I mean, it's slightly different than how I would do it, but like that's still fast. I guess the one thing, the one thing I would comment here is, for some reason VGM started hanging back to the right for some reason at the, like, you can probably see it, right? Like this very last drill. Yeah, see? VGM turns back to the right. So again, like, you want to go left because you're going left after this boss fight. Not sure how much that matters, but just like this small thing I noticed. So again here, one hammer, two enemies. Nothing too special here. Like the hammer EXP is pretty much just for Ashley. Like after the Ashley fight, you don't really have to worry about hammer EXP at all. This movement looks good. It's like nothing special in this whole thing. Oh, nice dropped, quick drop. Oops. Also, a 310 Ashley is good.
What's happening? What?
It's a really good time. This ribbon, I think, probably would have been a 146 if VGM got like the two less up drill hits, and then this Ashley probably could have been a 309, which is like pretty insane. Oh yeah, fun thing with this room. I actually think the way VGM does this is probably slower, but this trigger here, if you walk to the right, it triggers and you end up right in front of Rumi here. If you exit and go immediately left, you end up more over here. So like by going right, it actually puts you further left, which is where your ultimate goal is. It actually doesn't matter. Like time-wise, like neither matters, but like, so like ideally, you're either entering this door as far right as possible to immediately walk into the trigger, or you're entering the door as far left as possible in order to go left immediately. I'm not really sure how to explain this in a better way, but like the idea of going right after exiting the door is so that you maintain momentum in this room. So you're doing quick drops, I think 3 total or something like that, or 2 total, but like 1, 2. Yeah, so you can do like a third quick drop and then land on the far right of the door. So you're maintaining your momentum and you're not slowing down, and then you can immediately go right in order to end up further left. Or you can land right here on the left side of the door and then go left. I think those 2 versions are the fastest. It's just a matter of how you want to dodge this stupid closet. Because if you accidentally press down on this closet, you're opening the costume select screen. That's why like this going far right is even a thing. Like, if it wasn't for that closet, I think it would be definitely faster to just take the left side of the door. Of course, I haven't actually like really timed it in depth, so I can't say for sure, but like that closet makes things hilariously awkward. Also, typically you want to have I don't know if VGM gets it. Oh, whoa. What the heck? When does VGM get? Hold on. I haven't really been paying attention. I was like trying to see when VGM gets ribbon charge speed level 3. Or is it level 2? Maybe level 2. I don't know if he does. So boost speed? I think it's the one after boost speed, right? Right here, right? Maybe it's charged too. I thought it was. Let me. Man, I should check my PV. Oh, let me check my PV because I forget like what boost speed that I usually get for this fight. That's like. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, yeah, I do get charge 3, so this makes sense. I was pretty sure it's charge 3 because you can base it. There's like, if you have charge level 3, it makes this Kotri fight way easier because the charge speed really matters because you want to be able to fire a charge shot at Kotri in order to stun her, right? In order to have more time to do things. But so VGM doesn't have charge level 3, so this ribbon charges takes way longer. It's really interesting, this strat. I've never seen this strat before, actually. Kotri's a weird one. There's like many different ways to do this boss fight. But again, the concept here is that you do want to end up left. So like what VGM does here, I'm curious like if he can use his strat except like go on the left and finish her off on the left side. It could be faster. Because you can see Arena starts this movement section right here by this rock right here. But like if you finish Kotri off far enough left, like Arena could be starting her movement here. So basically you want to basically move during the boss fight, if that makes sense. Your end game is to go left, so you want to stay left when you can. I think this Kotri fight is the clearest example of finish bosses where you want to go, because you can clearly see it. Like, if you just go into your game and start practicing Kotri 1, like you can try it for yourself, and you can physically see as you spawn in, because these rocks, like this rock here, this small rock, and then this big rock, like these 2 big rocks and this small rock, it's the perfect visual cues to show you exactly like how much movement you're cutting by finishing bosses in different places. Also here, this stupid launch that everyone likes to do, don't do it. It's slower. You're not a TAS. You can't make it faster. I don't believe you. Nothing out of the ordinary here. So here, again, a 45-degree slope. So really cool thing right here. I don't go for it because it's impossible, but like, when you land right here and use this hammer, you can actually fit another jump quick drop to land here on this ledge. Actually, VGM tries to go for it. What the hell? Doesn't really get it in time. Yeah, so VGM does try to go for that little jump quick drop, and because of that, like, he fucks up this launch, which is a worse outcome. But that's why I don't go for that that mini quick drop after hitting that mage bun because of this exact scenario. So here again, typically it's faster to just jump up here and then jump left instead of doing this reverse wall jump. The weird thing about this room is because it's on a transition, it's really awkward to get a tiny jump. So I think it might be faster RTA to just reverse wall jump off this wall. I do a reverse wall jump just because of the screen transition. Right, because if you're trying to do a small jump onto this right here, this platform, it's very easy that you accidentally just screen transition. So I typically think it's better to just reverse wall jump up. Oh, I'm curious if that's better. So normally what I do, what most runners do, is they just charge shot and then pellet this to finish it off. VGM actually uses the hammer here. The really interesting thing is if you're doing a charge shot and a pellet, you still have to walk forward in order to pellet in a straight line. Unless you're TAS. Because if you're TAS, it is actually possible to fire a charge shot here to hit this, and then in the middle of your quick jump right here, or your quick drop right here, you can actually fire a pellet diagonally downward to kill this. I've done it one time before in a run, and I was like, oh my god, I'm swag. But like, almost always when you attempt to do that, your pellet misses, and then you just quick drop right into this rock guy. So, I don't know, it's interesting. Right here, you can do a launch here to land all the way on this platform. I've noticed that Tanaka has started going for it, and I think you're insane for going for it, but like, it is faster if you can get it. It's so easy to accidentally get a wimpy jump here, and if you wimpy here, you can't make it. You bounce off this wall, and you bump into this kitty cat. It's like all forms of bad. Oh! I've never actually even considered launching here. I've never seen anyone do that before. I'm actually not... I'm not sure. I don't think that's faster because the cutscene stops your launch short. Like, I feel like that's slower, but I've actually never even considered that before. It's just interesting. Yeah, I feel like it's slower just because of the cutscene. Yeah, so that was unfortunate. So right here, VJ. So typically, what you want to do in this fight is you want to do a walking hammer double rev. So like that first one was a clean walking hammer double rev, and then you do another walking hammer double rev. But again, the problem with doing walking hammer double revs is if you walk too close, you don't get a double rev. And so you can see here, this 25 damage hit is a forward quote-unquote hit, just because you're too close to trigger it as a backswing. So here, typically what happens if you do get the double rev is that you finish her off before the penta combo comes out. So right here, you would do a 4-hit combo, a fire ribbon, and then finish her off that way. But if you miss it, then you end up doing a whole penta combo and a charge shot. Like, you're short that much damage. It's insane. how much a double rev affects that fight. Man, dude, I've already been recording for like nearly an hour and I'm only 5 minutes into this fucking clip. I'm commenting on too much stuff. Okay, so here, I'm commenting on this because a lot of runners do this. Again, this launch ends up in an awkward position where you like have to stop short or nudge this tiny bump. Like if this tiny bump wasn't here, it would definitely be faster. But I am like pretty sure doing that launch is slower than just navigating that room normally. Interesting. Okay, that Sassini fight was really weird. Huh. I've never seen anyone do Sassini like that. The big things I notice is that VGM uses a charge shot here. And because of that charge shot, right here, Ribbon has no mana to do another charge shot. So because of that, VGM does like a completely different ending than I would expect. So like, for right here, you don't need to charge shot at all. You just need this hammer. And then if you didn't do that charge shot, you would have another full charge shot to use right here. I mean, VGM probably has practiced this and has come up with this strat of using pellets instead of a charge shot, but just something I noticed, like, you could probably improve this fight. And, like, the way, Tanaka, Wasabi-san, probably Haruta does this fight is without that down drill, like just with the penta or something. I actually don't do the fight the same way as them at all because I can't do double revs. I'm super bad at them, so I actually use boost. And the boost is about half a second faster than the way the other top runners does it, like without boost, without drill. It's half a second faster, but using boost for movement is a second faster if you can use it. So overall, my Sassini fight is faster. So overall, my Sassini fight is faster by half a second, but then my movement will be slower by a second. So overall, like, I'm losing half a second, but it's something I'm willing to take just because I can't do fast double revs like the other top runners. I'm just bad at them, so I have to come up with my own alternatives. So Alias here has 3 different RNG patterns. Like, she can stand still and use Hammer Wave. She can do a single jump, or she can do a double jump. And actually, believe it or not, the Hammer Wave is the fastest pattern, just because she stands completely still and stationary. And VGM got really lucky here, and she followed up with boost, so she's continuing to stand completely still. The only thing is, you have to completely go all in expecting the hammer wave in order to like react and jump over this hammer wave. So you can see VGM like is sort of like in the middle, kind of expecting a jump, which is why he's not ready to react to this hammer wave. So instead he goes slightly to the right to try to avoid it. But it's actually possible that if you go all in expecting the hammer wave, then you can cleanly dodge the hammer wave without having to turn back and lose that amount of time. And if you are able to do that, you can get this fight where she doesn't perform a second action at all. So VGM actually gets lucky here in that Alias performs a boost, but this is RNG. Her second action here can actually be a jump or a double jump, which would not lead to this scenario where Alias is dead. So like, the hammer wave, fastest RNG, but very difficult to react to, and you have to be all in on the react in order to get the fast strat, but it is the fastest if you manage to do all those things. In this scenario, VGM just kind of gets lucky, I would say. And she uses boost. Nothing of note here, I don't think. I don't think there's anything particularly special about the riverbank segment. It's actually one of the simplest sections. There used to be a strat here where you can deboost to get a launch. So you can deboost off this right guy in order to launch off this wall, because if you're an iframe, you don't get hit by this guy down here. But it's no longer faster because we have to do this carrot bomb shenanigan thing to get carrot bomb levels. So you don't want to really be killing enemies or anything. You can do a launch in this room. You can also do a boost in this room. They're both pretty fast.
Hopefully.
You want this carrot bomb delay level 2. Your carrot bomb is so slow in this route if you don't get that.
Hopefully, I won't forget where to go.
So, when you bump into this enemy, you get a little bit of hit stun. If you land on her head in a specific way, you actually don't get that deboost back. It's quite difficult to get, but just this tiny tidbit thing that's you can get it relatively consistent with practice. You don't need that egg in this route, but you probably get set out of habit because that egg has existed in like 90% of all Rabi routes. It's also a nice safety precaution. Oh, interesting thing here. If you slide without stamina, it's slower. So you should probably... I mean, what most people do is that they just quick drop at the far side of this room in order to conserve stamina, so you're not getting a slow slide jump through that. Interesting strat. Yeah, I don't think that makes a difference. Okay, nice. That slide jump up the mini platform is probably faster. It's quite difficult to do. I don't go for that, so it's interesting. This is all fine. Oh, I hate it when that guy moves. Oh wow, that was real nice. That was so close. Oh, that sucks. That shard shot was too early. You also don't need to do double revs in this fight. She doesn't have enough HP for it to matter. It's a pretty good segment regardless. Like nothing too special, but also nothing really bad. I'm not sure that first slide was faster there in this room. I know BD Tonica also goes for it. Okay. Doing the strat that most people do, which is just like hammering through those waves. I used an amulet there. Oh, really cool thing with this section here that I'm not sure if VGM tries for it, but if you do this, if you land on this ledge here, you can do a slide jump from here up here, and then it puts you in the nice position to get this zip right here. I know Tonica goes for it, and if you get that zip, it despawns these enemies, so it makes this wall jump super nice. I'm pretty sure this reverse wall jump is slower than just jumping up normally. This fairy and bunnies are completely RNG. It fucking sucks. Nice. This bunny right here is also RNG. If you get the good RNG, you can actually slide bonk off this slime bun and get boosted way up here super fast. But it's RNG, so can't really do much about it.
Feels bad.
Oh, nice. VGM's probably the only runner who actually does this room the right way. If you missed the slide zip, you should just immediately start going and not try it a second time. Oh, nice.
Oh, neat.
Nice zip. Doesn't get the good one where you land in the
That
upper
works.
room, but that's still pretty fast. Save the frames. Ooh, got caught on that slide jump. What? Okay. Yeah, I guess that's normal. Just that slide jump was like a little caught, so it looked a little awkward. Okay, so VGM doesn't go for the zip at all, which is fair. Goes for the equip right away. Again, one thing is that it may just be habit, and it's not a particularly bad habit to be honest, but double revs are slightly slower than just a regular Rev 3, only slightly, but it is slower nonetheless. So in these fights, where the deciding factor is number of hits, 77, you don't need to go for double revs, because they're slightly slower. You only want to go for hammer hits as fast as possible. So Rev 3 ends up being slightly better. But like, we're talking frames, like that is not important at all. And frankly, it's a good habit to do double revs over Rev 3s. Dude, this... Wow. Okay. I should try that. That bridge room was so clean. Huh, that looks real good. Like, you should see how, like, Wasabi-san or, like, BD Tonica does that room. Not clean at all. I can tell you that much.
Okay.
That room
should
is
be
a
saving
fucking
time
mess. It's an RNG nightmare. But the way VGM does that is super good. Also, again, this fight here is another fight that's decided with 77 damage, so you also don't need to do double revs here. Wait, I gotta see that. I gotta see this again. That's good. That's good movement, dude. That's clean. That like handles the RNG very well. You're not doing any walking hammers or anything. That's nice. I should learn that. Okay, let's see. Oh, you can do a zip here. Moving along. You can do a zip here if you walk forward and then do a slide jump here. It's super awkward because this save point eats up your slide input because you're pressing down.
Okay, we should be saving time here.
No. I will say, so typically right after this down drill, you fire a charge shot, and normally you can actually just use boost right away. VGM uses the boost in the middle here, and I actually think because of that, yeah, so he ends up going for an additional up drill here. You want to use the boost early because the boosts are hits, and you want to get to 77 hits. So you do want to use the boost as early as possible to get to that 77 hits as fast as possible, and you can cut out, and it cuts out a down drill that VGM ends up doing. Not the full down drill, but like, yeah. So it would be slightly faster to do that boost earlier. Probably not super important, but something to note. If you accidentally slide too much here and you have no stamina, you can actually use an amulet to recover. It's faster. I'm pretty sure it's faster not to use an amulet, though. I think it's faster to just play it safe. Oh. I know some people do this, but, air dashing here is not something I like to do. I think it's risky business. The reason why is you use air dash on
Hopefully Pandora goes well.
and if you air dash, then you get damage fall off, and that doesn't reset. Even though like Pandora is still so far away and you're doing so much movement, like you're still having that air dash fall off damage.
Neat.
So right here, this air dash, you see how it does like 9, 7, 6, 6? Normally it would be doing like in the 11s. Yeah, see? 10, 11s. Yeah, see how like at first was like the 10s and then it went down to the 7s? Yeah. I don't know if
I was not taking the chances there.
Yeah, I don't know if VGM planned that or not. Whoa, what the heck is that?
Report to lab. Computer town.
Dude,
I was not
that is
taking the
playing
chances
it
there.
really safe. Does it really matter if you kill Pandora on 77? Yes, it does matter because you actually can't kill Pandora with 77. Once you get to Pandora, you've reached the point in time where bosses don't die to 77 hits. So if you don't deal enough damage beforehand, you just can't kill Pandora in time. So normally what you do is you can stand right here on this tile and do a full jump slide, and it gets you over this region up. Probably something worth looking into.
Report to lab. Computer
It's gonna be faster
town.
than doing that awkward set of movement. Nice. Unfortunate. No block clip. The block clip is impossible, I tell you. You can actually hold upright immediately after reloading, but it is risky because if a random towns member is there, you buy their buff. So, it's safer to just walk and do that. Oh, yeah, this movement was like something you just have to practice a bunch. There's so much RNG in this segment, and there's ways to kind of avoid it, but it fucking sucks, and even I messed it up, even with a lot of practice. So this Alias 2 arena segment is really good. That's like perfect. So right here, instead of doing this pentacombo, you can actually just air dash her. And then up here you can do another air dash. Like, saves you a lot of times. It's safer the way that VGM does it, because if you have Ribbon in the corner, then the air dash just like instantly kills her, which is not what you want to be doing. Okay, interesting that he talks to her first, and then menus. Doesn't really matter, just interesting. So you can see here that VGM's at 1900 money, so like that egg was just extra. The egg is 1500, so you have more than enough without that egg. Okay, good double cutscene. I mean, there's a setup for it, so like, not really something you mess up.
Alright, let's see how many of these time saves are real.
Let's see. Okay, doesn't go for the zip, which I don't think you should, because the zip is dumb. Okay, this is interesting. I haven't seen anyone do this before. So you can actually just jump from the bottom platform here all the way up to this upper ledge in one jump. VGM does 2 jumps. Also right here, Dang it. I wish like my backspace doesn't go far. So right here, you can actually jump and reverse wall jump off this wall and then air dash. But V-jump does 2 jumps, which doesn't matter. So you can actually air dash and land on top of this 1 by 1 and then just jump up and then air dash. Yeah, okay, yeah. A lot of people like to do a reverse wall jump, wall kick, and then air dash, but that's slower. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Doing a quick drop air dash double jump instead of an air dash quick drop double jump. I don't think that matters. It's probably the same either way. Actually, it might matter if I'm looking at this right. Oh yeah, I think that actually does matter. Because look at this. The position is awkward. Because you don't go far enough. Yeah, because so like the way this room is structured, right, is that you can't just air dash across. This is way too far, right? So you have to do an air dash plus a quick drop, right? So if you, let's say you start here and you air dash, then you quick drop here, so you quick drop somewhere in this vicinity, and then you double jump and you get launched this way. So it's like a perfect, you quick drop right before you get to this structure, and then you get a clean double jump launch over this. But if you do it this way, I feel like, yeah, because your air dash only goes so far, you end up doing this quick drop. It looks like way earlier than you would want to. So like this arc lands you further to the left here, and so yeah, so like you end up with this second air dash over here, and VGM just goes down. So typically, if you end up further, you can actually air dash across and then just double jump up immediately. It's slightly faster, I want to say. Yeah, that's a very, very clean. It's like this is a very clean upper room. I do this room differently. I do it with pellets and charge shots in order to minimize, in order to maximize straight air dashes. But if you're doing a mixture of quick drop air dashes, quick drop air dash double jumps, then you can get it like this without needing to use any charge shot pellets. It's, I would say, definitely easier to do it this way. I'm pretty sure the other way with charge shots and quick drops, or charge shots and pellets, is faster because you minimize, sort of like you maximize the amount of time you're just straight air dashing. So like straight air dashes is faster than air dash plus air jump movement. So typically you do want to not do air jump movement if you can help it. Like you'd rather just you'd rather just air dash.
Wrong way. Wrong way.
Nice.
Wrong way.
Yeah, that bottom room lost a lot of time, unfortunately. I can't really comment on it because I'm sure like you can watch that. VGM can watch that and you can see like it's awkward. So right here too, I don't know why you see there's like an air jump here. An air jump is unnecessary and it just loses little time. Doesn't matter that much. It's all not super important. So, another interesting thing, you don't need to do this stamina saver. You can actually air dash through this entire room just fine. And you run out of stamina right here in this room, and in this room you're actually not even using air dashes, you're actually just normal jumping up. So like I can probably show you one of my runs, but you can typically just burn all of your air dashes straight across here without worrying about stamina, and then it refills perfectly.
Let's go. Here we go.
I do, I should comment on this section here. I do a really difficult strat, which I'm contemplating not doing, but like it's interesting to me as a strategy. But you can air dash so many times in this segment that you burn all of your stamina right here on this last air dash. You run out of stamina, so that you refill stamina as you jump over this hump, and then your stamina is back to full. It's a little awkward. This is interesting though. I like this. I like this right here. This is a quick drop air dash and then this air jump over this last guy. I actually like that. There's another strat you can do here, which is I think what most people do. Is you air dash straight across, and then here you jump and air dash. Obviously, like it's super tight where you don't want to jump too high that you air dash into this, but also not too low that you air dash right through this enemy. But this strat completely eliminates the need to do that. It's going to be slightly slower because it's not a double air dash, but it's way easier. And air dashing through enemies is slow. Okay, that is a wacky. What? What am I looking at? I need to rewatch that. It's like the wackiest outdoor room. The first outdoor room. I don't know what to call it. Huh. That's interesting. I don't really know what to comment on this. There's a lot of extra movement that could just be air dashes and stuff. Yeah, that's also interesting here. I know VGM likes to do a lot of quick drop air dash air jumps, which frankly like is super safe and eliminates the need to go through enemies, like air dash through enemies, which is slow. So it's like a nice safe middle ground. Way easier to execute while also being pretty fast. It will be faster if you just eliminate those and add full air dashes instead of any quick drop stuff. So here, VGM actually just air dashes and quick drops, but you can actually cancel this air dash with a down drill and then walk off this section here. Slightly faster. Also swag because
Focus.
down drill cancelled air dashes are swag. Yeah, again, this room has a ton of just quick drop air dash, double jump stuff. It's not necessarily slow,
I didn't get the
just
cutscene skip.
slower-ish.
That's fine.
I wouldn't even say that movement is slow. Like, that's still really nice and fast movement. Certainly faster than what it could be. I should take a look at this room. Like this, like the way VGM does this is actually really nice. Yeah, like that. Yeah. That Forgotten Cave 1 was really nice. Like, that's clean. And the exit was also quite clean. Like, that Forgotten Cave was good. No complaints. No comments there. That's just good Forgotten Cave. What the heck is this strat? I'm gonna pay attention. The air dash down drill is standard. The up drill is... Okay, yeah, the up drill is random.
25 seconds ahead.
So, this up drill right here can actually be replaced with the bunny strike. This is pretty normal. And then right here, this down drill can be also replaced with a bunny strike.
25
Those bunny
seconds
strikes are faster
ahead.
than
And I missed the cutscene skip too.
than drills. Okay. That was unfortunate. That is definitely... Yeah, he definitely did not mean to slide there. Yeah, I'm not going to comment too much on this section because people have seen my basically IL attempts of this section. So, you know what's fast in these set of rooms. That was a mistake. So right here, in case you don't know, you want to air dash here, jump, air dash here. You want to land right here, and then quick drop down, double jump, and then air dash across. And that completely gets around all those enemies really nicely. Oh, what? That's so interesting. I've never seen anyone do that. It's not slow at all. That's fast. It might even be faster than the way I currently do it. Okay, yeah, that's the way I do this room. I really like that VGM is really scared to air dash into boss rooms. You can totally air dash into the boss rooms in this route. Like, yeah, it's good to be wary of air dash fall off, but one air dash is not going to be the end of the run. So you don't have to slide jump into those rooms. This strat is also really strange. Haven't seen this strat. Three air dashes. 1, 2, 1, 2. It's like the chocolate strat. It's interesting. And another accidental slide that fucks up the movement.
I've screwed up a few times here, but that's fine.
Yeah, that was nice. Interestingly enough, if you air dash here low enough, you don't have to hit that fairy. It's really awkward though. It's pretty common to just hit it. Like, that position is so tight to dodge that fairy. Super nice Nixie skip.
Good RNG, please. Good RNG, please.
Okay,
RNG,
left
please.
side skip.
Oh! Don't meme me. Don't meme me. Don't meme me. You memed me. Why?
Okay, that's interesting. If you accidentally buy a buff, as long as it's not strange box, there's no reason to reload.
That's 1.
You can just buy it.
That's 2.
Unless you run out of money, and there's also an extra
nothing
egg
I
in
could
town.
do there.
Like that, so like I would say like that reload was not warranted. Like, you could have just bought the buff.
It was just pray and hope that she was gonna cooperate.
But also got good RNG on the second come around. Maybe that reload was out of frustration / habit, but once again, if it's not Strange Box, don't reset. That was a nice chocolate fight.
The RNG is for town member placement,
The
so I don't have
boss,
to go to the left and get them.
the bunny strikes can be implemented in that fight as well. Maybe
Pass
slightly
me
faster.
here to get them. I can just do this.
Also,
here to get them.
a cool thing here.
I can just do.
You can down drill here to cancel this and talk to her earlier.
I still save time though, because my PB got terrible RNG.
So like, let's talk 10 members. Like overall, looking at this first half of the run, I'd say the big things are surprisingly like there's a lot of good and there's a lot of mediocre. Like there's nothing. So first things first, like there's nothing exceptionally bad about the run at all. Like it's a very solid run. Obviously, 25. It's a 25-24, right? So it's like obviously it's going to be a solid run. So it's just really interesting to see here. So this chocolate time is a 22:54, right? So it's just under 23. But when you start comparing with the top runners, the time here that you want to cut is actually sub 22. So like a minute faster at this point. Other top runners are a minute faster. So why is that? Like what happens in this run that DGM lost a full minute, right? So like that's the big question, right? Because overall, like there were some ups and downs, but a minute's worth, that's a lot, right? So let's think about this. Yeah, this 30 seconds in shower was not real though, just because it's a route change. So that's one thing I will note. I think it's hard to say, but like just what I see from a glance, I would say that overall, like surprisingly, it does feel like a lot of time was lost on boss fights. Like I think a lot of these middle bosses, the fights were like not standard in terms of like what I would expect to see from like other top runners. And obviously like, it's fine coming up with your own strats. But like I want to say like you lose a few seconds on every boss compared to like other runners, like that's going to start adding up over time. Like let's see. Let's go back. Oh. I accidentally closed the video. That's great. Let's see. Let me see if I can reopen it. Okay, so like, take a look at splits for a second. You guys can see this now, right? So like, these first few fights are all like pretty standard. Like the boss fights are not very complicated at the early game. So like you're not losing a lot of time, right? So like overall like early game looks good, I would say. Don't think there's anything wrong with that one either. So from here, starting from Kotri 2, there's a late boost here, inducing an extra drill. Extra drill, probably like 2 to 3 seconds lost, or something like that. Fast forward to this.
Neat.
This Pandora fight, honestly, like, I don't even know. Like, this Pandora fight is so different than the way everyone else does this fight that I don't actually know. But there were some mistakes here. If you don't enter this door at the end of this boss fight, you also lose 2 seconds. Just
I was
random
not
side
taking
note.
the chances there.
I know VGM messed up this Pandora fight, so like that whole like that whole clip, that whole Pandora fight in this run was like just messed up in general. So like I don't want to comment too much on it, but you know.
I was not taking the chances
And
there.
then right here, doing this room like this probably loses like a couple seconds as well. So like
Warp to lab. Computer
overall,
town.
like you're already losing like a couple seconds. Like still less than 10, but or maybe more than 10, but because not including Pandora, like probably less than 10 still. Here, this doing a penta combo on Ribbon here over an air dash probably loses like a second or two that you don't need to do. Yeah, safety is fine. I think like that's something you can practice though. That room is really easy to do with the slide jump. Just something to worth visiting.
Long way.
This section is all fine. This room here, I would say like this definitely loses like a couple seconds. Like just this part right here where there's a double jump quick drop. This movement right here is so strange. Like that movement alone probably loses 2 seconds. Obviously there's a new strat here where you can actually bunny strike up to the 3rd floor that people are doing now. So like obviously there's also that time save, which is like a couple seconds of time save movement. It does make this boss like fucking impossible, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm pretty sure this fight was also messed up. I think Nieve just gave bad RNG. Yeah, this is scuffed. And judging from the way VGM handled that though, I'm sure he knows how to fight Nieve more optimally. But that was just bad RNG and kind of scuffed. So like that probably also lost a few seconds, right? This movement is actually some of the cleanest in the entire run. Actually, like compared to other runners too, I would say like this is some top movement. This whole Forgotten Cave segment is very clean. And then this boss fight. Yeah, so this boss fight adds 2 2 down drills in place of bunny strikes. Like I think this PB is old enough. Like it's still relatively new in terms of, I mean, it's old in terms of this route. So like a lot of the bunny strikes being implemented into boss fights was not really a thing back when VGM did this PB, like had this PB. So like I don't blame him for not doing bunny strikes, but like yeah, like you're losing a few seconds
ahead.
doing down drills over bunny strikes.
And I
Probably
missed
like
the cutscene skip too.
probably like a second or two or something like that. Maybe more, maybe. The boost at the end of this fight doesn't actually matter that much on this Kokoa fight, surprisingly. Doing the boost early only matters if you want to get 77 hits. The boost damage is not super important. You're really only using boost to recover stamina. Oh, and then this right here. This was bad. Like getting hit twice here, that probably lost like 3 seconds or something like that. Because that damage at the end was pretty major. That hit stun probably loses a second on its own. Maybe it's not 3 seconds, maybe it's only like 2 seconds, but like still. all this time adds up, right? So if the goal is to cut 22 minutes at chocolate, and you're losing like you're bleeding 2 to 3 seconds on every split, like it starts adding up real fast. And then this fight, does the chocolate strat, which is not a slow strat, but I think the chocolate strat on Coterie 3 is slow. That probably loses a second as well. Because there's no reason to do the chocolate strat in Coterie 3. Coterie 3 has less HP. You can kind of manipulate some better strats or something. This section was fine.
You memed.
And then this here, right?
Please. That's what. Don't meme me.
So right here, 2202.
Don't meme me. Don't meme me.
So the reload here. Go back.
Why?
Go into town. Go here.
That's one.
So right here. So 2202 is when he could have had the buff, but then he bought it at 2217. So that's 15 seconds on that reload. If he didn't reload and just like talk to the other town members, like that would only have been like maybe a 2 to 3 second time loss.
Yeah, nothing I could do there.
I still don't know why exactly he reloaded. Maybe it was a mistake. Like he didn't mean to reload, but he kind of just like instinctively reloaded.
Or just pray and
that is definitely a thing that happens when you run this game a lot. Is that you tend to instinctively reload when you mess up something.
Yeah, nothing I me. Don't mean me. You
no, he had enough for the buff. Like you can see like he buys the vanilla buff.
Don't mean me.
And right, you can see here that Nieve still has the blue message.
You memed me.
Definitely had enough money to buy it. So I don't know if that was intentional or just like a force of habit to reload on making a mistake. Because I have definitely reloaded by accident making a mistake when I really shouldn't have reloaded. Okay. I didn't actually notice this before. 1, 2, 3 air dashes. 1, 2, 3 air dashes. 1, 2, 3 air dashes. 4 air dashes. Okay, so you only have to do 2 air dashes per amulet. I don't know why. Doing 3 air dashes per amulet is a backup strat for when you A, don't have give defense down so you need to do more damage, or B, don't have amulet cut so you need to do more damage per amulet. So like when you have both amulet cut and give defense down, you only should be doing 2 air dashes per amulet.
The RNG is for town member placement, so I don't have
so
to go
I'm pretty sure
to
like
and get them.
probably lost
a
little bit of time on that chocolate fight as well. Maybe like a few seconds.
This.
So overall, I mean, the reload alone was 15 seconds. So if we take away the reload, that puts this time at let's say 22:39, right? That's 15 seconds. Yeah, so 22:39. So roughly around 40 seconds of mistakes. 40 seconds, and you're losing like 2 to 3 seconds per boss fight. You can kind of see how that adds up. And like, you can kind of see how it ends up being a minute slower. Second time too. Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's really hard to say because like you look at the overall run and it's actually not that bad, right? Like in the grand scheme, like this run up until this point is like pretty good. All the mistakes I would say have not been major at all. They're like all minor mistakes that lose like 2 to 3 seconds. But when you look at the big picture, this is a category that is under 25 minutes. It's like even a mistake that is 3 seconds in a 25-minute speedrun, like if you really think about it, a 3-second mistake, that's a major mistake at this point. Like at the point of this run being this fast, sub 25 minutes. 3-second mistake, pretty huge. Reloading and getting plus 15 seconds, massive. That's probably the only mistake this run, all things considered. Like that's probably the major
I still
mistake.
saved time though, because my PB got.
But yeah, it's I would say like this end game with the four boss skip, zip shenanigans, hospital, bunny strike bullshit. Don't even think about that. Like this, these splits up until chocolate is what you should be looking at if you want to see how you compare to other runners. It's like Wasabi-san gets a 21:59 chocolate time, and um, Tanaka's PB gets a 21:59 as well. Oh, you look at that. Yeah, rank 1 and rank 2 have a 21:59. And I would say a 21:59 is pretty dang good for the chocolate segment. Even a low 22 is pretty damn solid, I would say. And if you want to take things hilariously into more consideration, Haruta, who is the rank 3, has a pretty terrible chocolate time compared to these earners. Let me see. Yeah, so Haruta's chocolate time is 22:39, a full 40 seconds slower. But if you look at the leaderboards, yeah, I mean, you can see it. Like his end game is pretty solid in the grand scheme, like losing roughly 35 to 45 seconds. It's exactly 40 seconds slower than Tanaka's time. So like if you consider the end game of all these runners to be basically the same, like yeah, it's really up until chocolate. So Haruta was 40 seconds behind at chocolate and finished the game 40 seconds behind Tanaka. So like that's just like a point of comparison. It's also really funny that both Tanaka and Wasabi-san had the exact same chocolate time, 21:59, and Wasabi-san's time is 4 seconds slower. So like endgame ended up taking up a bit of time.
Terrible RNG.
It's funny because like when you look at PBs, you kind of expect the PB to get the end game fast. So like it's not even really worth looking at the end game to see
My health
like
is not
where
good.
the
My health
improvements.
is very bad.
Yeah, that movement was weird. I've seen VGM
I
do
am.
that first room movement way better than that.
Oh,
Okay, so right here, um,
I
you can
am
actually air dash immediately here and manipulate the nerds to jumping to the right
almost
instead
dead.
of kind of getting separated.
I'm gonna take
And
it.
yeah, safety first is completely fine. Better to eat a a cake than it is the game over. So I think that was a smart decision. Yeah, extra safe. Normally I wouldn't go for that heel pad, but because he ate the cake, I think that was a smart decision. Yeah, wow. Fucking
Oh,
god.
I finally get a run after all this time.
Dude, what a god. that that first try spike zip into first try strike zip. Question is, how did this Noah 3 section go? Whoa. Triple hit on that bunny strike. Ooh, bad RNG. I probably would have used an amulet at the end there. Surprised he didn't. Okay.
Second
That
place.
that fight uh was going well. He kind of messed it up.
GG.
I
We
think
did
that
it.
fight probably would have been faster by like a couple seconds. This may have been able to cut 25-20 if that
Dude.
fight was better, I would say.
The memes it
Let me see.
Garo. Second place.
Yeah. So I don't really have too many further comments. Actually, like now I think about it, the ending timing has changed since he did this run. So this run is actually a 25-23, give or take, not a 25-24. I mean, it's 1 second. It's kind of the same regardless. Just like an interesting thing to note. So let me see compared to some other runners. Iwabi, who is the 4th place runner. Iwabi's chocolate time is a 22:36, so roughly 37 seconds slower than the first 2 runners. I don't know, I kind of rambled on about a lot of standard Tentium things that everyone would know, and then like halfway through this, I just decided to just start commenting on like VGM specifically. So this has been a really weird stream overall. I'm sorry that I couldn't be a little bit more organized, but hopefully it was informative in some way, interesting perhaps in some way. Um, there's honestly like there's a welfare of knowledge. Welfare? That's not the word I'm looking for. A well. Wait, no. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not welfare, right? A wealth of knowledge? That doesn't sound right either. I feel like there's another word I'm looking for. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that like there's a ton of information literally everywhere in this. So many small things I could talk about. I kind of realized after I spent like an hour and I spent an hour talking about stuff and it was only 5 minutes into the run. I was like, I need to start not talking about literally everything. Oh man. Yeah, I don't have any further comments really. I mean, I can take questions, I guess. I mean, I can go over specific sections of the run, like all the small stuff of a specific section if you want. Because I know I kind of glossed over that whole second half. I would say like the highlights that... Because the really interesting thing too is like, I'm doing this as sort of like a third party to analyze the run and like offer tidbits of like where improvements can be made. I am by no means a good runner. I mean, I'm a pretty good runner, but I mean like no means am I like a god of this game at all. Like I don't think I think me myself as a runner, I have tons to improve myself, and like even for me like looking at a run, I think there's a lot I can learn. Like for example, this room I think for me as another peer looking at this run and seeing what I can take out of it for my runs, like this for me, this room right here is the biggest thing I've seen that I think I will immediately try to implement in my runs. Like, as a viewer who doesn't do runs, maybe it's hard to appreciate this room the way I see it, but like, I think if you did runs, you would understand like how good this room is. This bridge room is so hard because all the enemies in this room are RNG. So finding a fast solution like this. Yeah, this is so nice. I'm just like, I know. It's like hard for me to explain how much I appreciate that. But like, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot I can learn from this run as well. The other interesting thing is, where was it? This? Okay, I know like other runners, I think like Tanaka and Wasabi-san also do this room very similar to this. I just wanted to watch it again because it is a super clean way of doing this room. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it is slightly slower than the way I do it, so just putting it out there. But it is a really clean way of doing that room. There's like something else that I thought was really interesting. Oh, this. I remember now. This room. I'm trying to look closely here. I mean, aside from this heal point, that's irrelevant. This ending. Yeah, that's really interesting. I might look into that. I don't know if that's necessarily fast or anything, but it's like something interesting I noticed. There was something else minor. Is it here? No, it was before this. I think it was here? Yeah, here. Right? No, it wasn't here. Where was it? There was somewhere where VGM does a double jump in a spot that I never considered before. And I wanted to re-look at that. I don't remember where it was. Obviously, it'd be after double jump. This is the first place you go after double jump, right? No, I don't think it's here. Oh, I want to look at this again too. Oh, yes. Maybe? Yeah, I do want to revisit this, but that wasn't exactly what I was looking for. That is a really good room, though. It was like, where was it? Man, I don't know if I'll find it again. It's like something really minor and really interesting. It's probably, I don't know if I mentioned it, but there, man. It's like something completely mundane. Oh, was it here? I don't think it was here. Wait, actually, what the heck was that? Oh! Yeah, that was interesting. Oh! Well, I closed the video again because I was clicking too fast. But yeah, I don't really have any further comments. That's the stream. Thanks for watching. Oh man. I will see you guys in the next one. Perhaps I will actually do runs instead of just like sit here and just like talk about the glory days. Alright, bye guys.